Are you ready for the 2025 pension changes that could completely reshape your retirement income? What's coming next year might seriously surprise you. The UK government has just confirmed a 4.8% rise in the state pension for 2025, but there's a lot more to this story than meets the eye. Behind that good news lies a serious triple lock risk, growing concerns over tax thresholds, and the quiet impact of frozen allowances that could mean you'll actually lose more money than you gain. If you rely on the state pension, or if you're planning to retire soon, you absolutely need to understand how these changes could affect your income, your taxes, and your overall financial future. Welcome to the channel, where we break down the most important pension, tax, and financial updates to help you stay ahead and make informed decisions. Stay with me until the end of this video because I'll explain what this 4.8% increase really means for you, the hidden risks of the triple lock, and how the government's stealth tax policy might silently eat into your pension income. Let's dive in. For 2025, the state pension is set to rise by 4.8%, following the triple lock formula. This means it increases by whichever is highest: inflation, average earnings, or 2.5%. This year, the key driver is average earnings growth, which the Office for National Statistics recently confirmed at 4.8%. So, from April 2025, what does that look like in real numbers? If you're on the full new state pension, your weekly amount will rise from £221.20 to around £231.80. That's an extra £10.60 every week, or roughly £552 more per year. And if you're on the basic state pension, your weekly rate will go up from £169.50 to about £177.60. That's around £8.10 more weekly, or £420 more per year. That sounds like a decent increase, right? But before you get too comfortable, here's where things start to get complicated. While your pension is rising, so is the cost of living, and crucially, tax thresholds are still frozen. This means more and more pensioners are being dragged into paying income tax for the very first time, and many will continue to pay more in the next tax year. Even with this pension boost, the personal allowance, which is the amount you can earn before paying any income tax, remains frozen at £12,570 until at least April 2028. So, if you're receiving the full new state pension next year, you'll be earning about £12,060 a year. That's just a few £100 below the tax threshold. Add in any private pension, savings, income, or part-time work, and you'll easily cross into taxable territory. In other words, while your pension is going up, so is your tax bill, a classic case of fiscal drag. And it's not just you. Millions of pensioners across the UK are in the same boat. In fact, HMRC expects more than 2.7 million pensioners to pay income tax in the coming year, the highest number ever recorded. So, while the government highlights a 4.8% pension increase as a success story, many retirees will barely feel the benefit once tax, inflation, and rising utility costs are factored in. Now let's talk about the triple lock, cornerstone of pension policy, and one of the most debated topics in UK politics today. The triple lock guarantees a state pension raises every year by the highest of three things: average earnings growth, inflation, or 2.5%. It was introduced back in 2010 to protect pensioners from falling behind. But as these pension increases outpace wage growth and government revenues, it's becoming incredibly expensive to maintain. The Treasury now spends more than £130 billion a year on pensions, and that figure is set to rise sharply after this 4.8% increase. Some economists and MPs are already warning that the triple lock might not survive beyond 2025 or 2026 in its current form. Here's why. If average wages or inflation spike again, the cost to the government could become unsustainable. There are already discussions about replacing it with a double lock, or a smoothed earnings link, which would tie pension rises more closely to long-term trends instead of year-to-year spikes. In simple terms, this means future increases might be much smaller, potentially ending the era of strong pension growth we've seen over the past few years. So while 2025's 4.8% rise is welcome news today, it could mark one of the last years we see such generous hikes. So, let's take a closer look at what this means for your real purchasing power. According to the latest inflation forecasts, Prices are expected to rise by around 2.6% in 2025. That's lower than last year, but still significant. This means that even with a 4.8% pension rise, your real increase in spending power is only about 2.2%. And that S, assuming you are not hit by extra taxes or benefit adjustments. On top of that, energy prices, council tax, and essential goods often continue to rise faster than average inflation, putting even more pressure on your finances. Understanding these details is key to protecting your retirement. If this has been helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more essential updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're rediving deep into some big news for UK pensioners. The expected 4.8% rise in the state pension for April 2025. On the surface, this sounds like great news, but is it really? Let's break down what this increase actually means for your wallet, because the full story is a lot more complicated. So, let's start with the headline numbers. A 4.8% increase would push the full new state pension to around £231.80 a week. That's a welcome boost, no doubt. But here's the catch. Will that extra money actually land in your pocket? For many, that extra £10 a week might just disappear, swallowed up by next year's rising electricity bills or grocery costs, rather than adding to your spending money. And when you consider that many older adults rely almost entirely on the state pension, these changes can have a huge impact on daily life. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The stealth tax trap. You might have heard about this, and it's quietly affecting more and more pensioners every year. The government has frozen the personal tax allowance at £12,570 until 2028. Because of this freeze, every time the pension goes up, more people are pushed over the tax line. Let me give you a quick example. Back in 2020, the new state pension was about £9,110 a year, comfortably below the tax-free allowance. What about other benefits? When the state pension rises, things like pension credit are expected to rise too. The pension credit guarantee could see single pensioners' minimum income go up to around £218 a week, and couples to about £332. That's great. However, if you're getting housing benefit or council tax support, this pension rise could slightly reduce what you're entitled to. That's why it's so important to check your benefits every single year. You can use the government's pension credit calculator or talk to Citizens Advice to make sure you're getting everything you deserve. Looking at the bigger picture, the UK's population is getting older, and the cost of the triple lock is soaring. By 2030, it could cost over £150 billion a year. This means the next government, no matter who wins, will likely have to reform the system. So, while this 2025 rise feels like a victory now, it could be the turning point that forces future changes. So, what can you do to protect yourself? First, stay informed. Follow official updates from the Department for Work and Pensions and trusted financial channels. Second, review all your income sources. If you have a private pension, it might be worth speaking to a financial advisor to see how you can be more tax efficient. And finally, please, don't underestimate pension credit. Around 800,000 eligible pensioners still aren't claiming it, missing out on over £3,000 a year. To sum it up, the 4.8% pension rise is coming. But frozen tax thresholds mean many will pay more tax. While it's a short-term win, the long-term future of the triple lock is uncertain. The numbers don't tell the whole story. What matters is how this impacts your personal finances. What do you think? Is this rise enough, or is it just smoke and mirrors? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates on pensions and retirement. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.